You know, we've all been there. We've all dealt with those people. The ones who leave you feeling completely drained or confused or just kind of bad about yourself. It's a totally universal experience. So in this explainer, we're going to break down every single type of toxic person. And look, the goal here isn't just to put labels on people. It's to understand their playbook so you can finally protect your own peace. Let's dive in.
But let's start with the most important question of all, right? Why do these people get under our skin so easily? I mean, why is it that one little comment from a coworker or a subtle jab from a family member can just completely hijack your whole day?
Well, the answer might actually surprise you. It has nothing to do with you being weak or too sensitive. It's your brain. Seriously, your brain is basically running on ancient software, and it treats social threats with the exact same alarm bells it uses for like a lion chasing you. It's a biological trap.
Think about it. For thousands of years, if you got rejected from your tribe, that was pretty much a death sentence. So your brain is deeply, fundamentally wired to care about belonging. It cares about what other people think. So when someone disrespects you or excludes you, it doesn't just hurt your feelings, it literally triggers a primal survival alarm. And just understanding that, that's the very first step to taking your power back.
Okay, so this brings us to our first big category of toxic behavior. I like to call them the status games. These are all the people who are constantly trying to prove that they are somehow above you in some social hierarchy, and their favorite tools for doing this? Competition and exclusion.
So, first up in this category, the jealous competitor. You know this person. They're the one who gets really weird anytime you're doing well. And that's because, deep down, they don't see life as this big collaborative thing. Nope. To them, it's a zero-sum game, which means if you win, they must be losing.
So what does this actually look like? Well, let's say you get a promotion at work. They're the one who'll say something like, "Oh, wow, they must have been desperate for someone." Or you share some good news, and they just immediately change the subject or try to one-up you. These aren't just little slips of the tongue. They're very calculated moves designed to chip away at your success so they can feel better about their own insecurity.
So how in the world do you handle them? You starve them. You starve them of the reaction that they are desperate for. When they throw one of those little jabs, just pause. Stay completely relaxed. Whatever you do, don't defend yourself. Your silence is so much more powerful than any comeback because it tells them their opinion has zero weight. You're just not playing their game anymore.
All right, next up in the status games is a classic we've all seen, the excluder. This person's power comes from creating an in-group and then making it painfully obvious that you are in the out-group. They live to manipulate social dynamics just to isolate people.
And you know this feeling, right? It's the inside jokes that you're never a part of. It's the conversations that suddenly stop the second you walk into the room. They might even say things to you directly, like, "Oh, you just wouldn't get it," or "You're not really a fit here." It's this really subtle but incredibly brutal way of asserting their dominance.
So how do you dismantle this whole thing? It's actually way simpler than you'd think. You don't argue, you don't get upset, you just ask calm questions. If they say something like, "You're not really a fit," you just calmly and genuinely ask, "What do you mean by that?" You force them to explain their vague, toxic comment in real, concrete terms. And trust me, most of the time, they can't. And their power just evaporates right there in the daylight.
And that brings us to the final player in the status games, the constant critic. This is the person who seems to have a PhD in finding fault with literally everything you do. Their feedback is just this relentless stream of negativity, and it's almost never supportive or, actually constructive.
I mean, you could literally move a mountain and they would complain about the shadow it casts. Their criticism isn't about helping you get better. It's a tool they use to maintain their own sense of superiority. By constantly pointing out your flaws, real or imagined, they get to feel like they're above you.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. You have to stop looking for their approval. Their criticism is the tool, yeah? But your desire for their validation, that's the power source. So here's the reframe. Their feedback isn't actually about you. It's just a reflection of their own need to feel important. And once you really truly see that, their words, they just become noise.
Okay, let's switch gears to our second major category, the control freaks. So if the status gamers were all about social hierarchy, these people are about direct manipulation. They want to drain your personal resources, your time, your energy, and especially your emotions.
First up, we have the emotional drainer. This person's life is just a perpetual five-alarm fire, and they fully expect you to be their personal firefighter 24/7. Every single conversation somehow orbits back to their crises, their drama, and their endless needs.
Oh yeah,
They are absolute masters of the emotional dump. They'll call you at all hours, they'll just flood you with all their problems, and they use guilt to keep you on the hook. But notice what happens when you need support. All of a sudden they're busy, or they're just unavailable. It's a one-way street where your energy is only ever flowing out.
Now, the most effective tool you have against an emotional drainer is a boundary. A very simple, I'm sorry, I can't help with that right now, or I'm not really available for this conversation. And then, just watch their reaction. A healthy person will respect it, a toxic person will fight it. They'll push back, they'll guilt you. Why? Because you just cut off their energy supply. Their reaction to your boundary tells you everything you need to know.
And finally, we come to maybe the most insidious type of all, the manipulator. This person almost never says what they actually mean. They operate in the shadows of confusion, using all these indirect tactics like pressure or guilt or even strategic kindness, all to control you.
See, their kindness is almost always a transaction. They're only super nice right before they're about to ask for something big. They use these phrases that make you feel confused or obligated or put you on the defensive. Their whole goal is to get you so disoriented that you just give in to what they want.
The antidote to all of this confusion is clarity. You don't need some complex, witty argument. You just need simple, direct, and unyielding statements. Things like, no, or that doesn't work for me, or I'm not going to agree to that. That's it. Don't explain, don't justify. Your clarity is a brick wall that their manipulation just can't get through.
So, we've identified all the players, we've looked at their strategies, but what is your unbeatable defense? Well, it's not about learning clever comebacks or trying to win an argument with them. That whole game is rigged from the start. The only winning move is to shift your focus entirely from controlling them to controlling yourself.
And this whole defense really just breaks down into 3 simple habits that you can build over time. First, always, and I mean always, pause before you react. Just give your logical brain a second to catch up with your emotional brain. Second, name what's happening. Instead of just feeling bad, you identify it. Oh, this is manipulation, or this is an attempt to make me feel small. And third, you protect access to you. Your time and your energy are your most valuable resources. Not everyone deserves them.
And that leads us to the final and most crucial truth of all. You cannot change these people. You can't logic them into being better. You can't love them into being healthier. That is not your job. Your one and only job is to become so solid in your own boundaries and your own self-worth that their behavior no longer has the power to disturb your inner peace.
So as we wrap this up, I want you to think about all this information not just as a list of types, but as a set of keys. Keys that unlock the patterns that you see every single day. And with that newfound knowledge, just ask yourself this one question. Who just lost their power over you?
If you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe. Thank you.